Welcome to Money Convos, where we discuss personal finance and investment tips. We are committed to helping people create wealth and achieve financial freedom. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Alright then, let's head into today's conversation.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Money Convos. We are really excited about today's topic because it is something that affects all of us, no matter our age or background. How financial literacy shapes our future. We often hear that we should start investing early, but what does it truly mean for you? And how does it truly impact your financial future? We will get into all of that in a jiffy. And as always, our ever-present co-host, Adam, is here to help us break it down. Hi, Adam. How are you?
Hello, Dennis. I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing great. Hope you had a nice day.
Oh, yeah. By the grace of God, it was fine.
Wonderful. Great to hear from you. And so, financial literacy is something that we are passionate about at Money Convos. It's basically the motivating factor behind all we do. And I think today's discussion will provide our listeners with some very great insights. So let's dive in. So let's begin the conversation. Why we are having this episode, right? So we happen to chance upon an article in the Financial Times titled, and I quote, "The best investment tip of all, start when you are young." And this has been added as a reply to the tweet which shared this space, so you can check it out. And it pointed out that personal finance education has been a bit of missed opportunity in our educational institutions. The article, although focused on the UK, and to be specific, it said that almost 2/3 of young adults in the UK do not recall having any financial education in school at all. And upon reading this, we realized that this is not just a problem in the UK. It covers everywhere, with even African countries having the worst of it, So basically the question becomes, what do you think is the issue with such a problem, not just in developed world, but in developing countries as well? Adam, any thoughts on that?
This challenge of financial literacy, I think it's because, I don't know, maybe it's because people assume that everybody will figure it out, how to handle money, or probably because people feel that, for example, some people go to school to study business administration, finance, banking and finance and all of that. So it comes off as like a specialized area that people are supposed to be handling. So I think that is one of the main reasons why people don't focus on financial literacy right from the beginning, because I think they feel that it's a specialized area. So some people have
very great points there, Adam. And I think our educational institutions also fail us in a sense that I think they don't deem it as really necessary. They have so many opportunities to add personal finance or financial education to our curriculums in school. But for centuries, for years, our curriculums are focused on only traditional subjects like math, science, and what have you. So basically, we go through school, 18 to 20 years spent in school, only to enter adulthood and without the basic tools or basic knowledge we need to manage our money, personal money, leading to poor financial decisions down the line. So I agree with you when I say there's some sort of apathy within the society that, people will figure it out. It's life. You live, it goes. And also the apathy on their end to add these subjects to the formal educational system. And so it becomes a missed opportunity because, we may not have student loans and credit card debts may not be popular in Ghana, but it really affects your mentality with regards to money. I mean, when you speak to people will even say they fear what they can do when a lot of money comes into their hands. And with the digital age in which we are living in, with more financial products available at the touch of a button, it's very important that as young people, we are able to figure out how to manage our money very early so that when you are bombarded with the offers of loans, because loans are very popular in Ghana or in Africa as well, such that when you are bombarded with things like loans, things like investments, you're able to sit down, assess things for yourself, and make decisions that will not have long-term consequences that will affect you. So, yeah, I agree. I agree with your point that there's some kind of apathy when it comes to educating people. And talking about starting early, I noticed that the article, one major takeaway from the article was that starting early on your financial literacy journey gives you a major advantage, especially when it comes to investing and saving. And in previous episodes, we may have hammered on these points several times, but it's important that we keep hammering on them so that people realize we are not just saying it for saying sake, but because it's something that happens, it's something that's real. So I want us to focus on compound interest and why it's such a powerful concept. In your own words, could you explain why starting early in your saving journey, in your investment journey, is so important in terms of compound interest? Adam, I don't know if you have any thoughts.
Oh yes, starting early gives you that advantage. For example, because we are talking about compound interest over here. Compound interest is basically when you have a situation where interest will earn interest. We know of simple interest where we know at the end of the period, your principal has earned an interest. But with compound interest, when that period ends and you reinvest, both the principal and the interest are also now going to be earning interest. And there is this chart, I don't know, I have it somewhere on my phone. I didn't think about it. I would have tweeted it, which compares to people, somebody that starts the investment journey from, I think, is it 25 years or so, and another person who starts when it's, I think, 35 years, I think, something like that. And if they are both like saving or investing, investing their monies at the same interest rate, okay, across the period, the one who started off earlier will end up having, sometimes I think at a particular interest rate, it was more like double of the one who started 10 years later, So you see that, even in that scenario, I would definitely look for it and post it so that we can see what I'm talking about. Even in that scenario, with the person who's starting later contributing even greater amounts at every interval, still is not able to meet up with the one who started earlier. That's what we call the power of compounding. When you start early and you are investing, it's like time. Time is the best friend of compound interest. It's able to do wonders and work the magic. And you can keep investing, and it gets to a point where you can even stop contributing because your contributions will even be upon interest. So starting early in this journey is very, very, very important because you have the advantage of time. to be able to make up, even in the case of where there are market fluctuations. Because you have started early, that is able to give you time for corrections to happen and all these things to flatten out and everything to become fine. Okay, so that's the essence of beginning early. And anyone who starts early has an advantage over the one who is starting later. And that is almost like a given. Yeah.
Fantastic explanations there, them. So the earlier you start investing, the more time your money has to grow. It doesn't matter if you start with small amounts. The power of compound interest can turn those small investments you are making, those small savings you are putting away, into substantial amounts over time. So in the article that prompted this discussion, they highlighted something very interesting. There was a study which showed that people with higher financial literacy had double the amount in their pension savings compared to those who weren't as financially savvy. And this wasn't necessarily because they earned more money, but it was because they had the knowledge, they started saving earlier, and then they understood the magic of compound interest and what it can do for them. And so it's right to say that the earlier you start, the less you have to contribute later in life. And the problem is a lot of young people, due to various factors, which sometimes are out of their control, delay in investing because, one, we make the mistake of thinking that we have plenty of time ahead of us. And so let me wait till I'm 30, till I'm 35. Let me finish marrying and then I can invest. But then the reality is starting early, when there's less pressure on you, when you have more years ahead of you, means you can do less work over time. And you are giving money your chance, or your money the chance to work for you for a longer period of time. So it's very important that when we have the opportunity, we should start investing early. If you are lucky enough to be in your 20s, to be in your early 30s, it's better that you start now and reap the benefits in some years to come. That extra decade between 20 and 30, between 30 and 40, can make so much difference that if somebody doesn't tell you, you will not know. So it's important that we try our best to educate ourselves on money, on personal finance, and make sure we start saving early, start investing early, and it will pay huge dividends in the long run. And another side of the story, which the article highlighted, was about digital finance. And so, we are in a digital world now, and it's interacting, or it's changing the way we interact with money, or young people interact with money. So one important thing the article mentioned was that teenagers in our age now are already engaging in cryptocurrencies, following influencers on social media, and getting involved in some innovations in the market, which are buy now, pay later schemes. And Adam, I want your thoughts on this. How do such digital innovations, or the digital world, the new things that are coming up, affect the growth of financial literacy? And if you're a young person, or if you're advising a young person, how would you advise them to navigate some of these trends responsibly?
Okay, so like the article was saying, because of these digital products, the proliferation of these digital products that are easily available, you just need to have a smartphone. Then you have access to apps that tell you maybe you can trade in gold, you can buy you can buy probably some stocks in another country or something like that. Because of these things, many people have access to all kinds of things, and they don't even spend their time to understand what it is. And for me, my advice all the time is that never invest or put your money into something you have no idea or you cannot explain to somebody. Okay, so it's very important that people rather take time to understand basic concepts of finance, so that whatever it is that you are putting your money in, like up till now, I really don't I understand the real mechanism about how crypto works. So for me, my money is not going there because I don't understand it. You see, even the ones we understood about lending to government and things, look at the haircuts and the mark-to-markets we are having, and the stress we are going through, that people are even ranting on Twitter now. You know, the one that we even understood, it is giving us tears. So there are much more what we don't understand. So stay off things you don't understand. I mean, generally speaking, because if you don't understand, you cannot even tell the kind of risk you are exposing yourself to. So it's very important that you understand whatever it is you are putting your money in. And also, you have to be more careful this time because online or digital scams are very prevalent. You could lose your money easily by being defrauded because you cannot really tell whether something is licensed or regulated or it's real or it's genuine. You know, because you are sitting here in Ghana, there's an app that is claiming that, you can buy maybe shares on maybe the New York Stock Exchange or something, and you quickly are putting your money in there. What is the evidence that indeed you own those shares when you have purchased through them? What is the evidence that indeed, are they giving you contract notes? Are you receiving, and even if you have received those contract notes, what's the evidence that it's really, really genuine? You know, what are the safeguards? So you have to be very careful online, especially when you are trying to do cross-country investments. At least in Ghana, we know that whatever institution you are supposed to deal with, it must be regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Same with the United States, that whatever institutions you are supposed to be dealing with should be regulated or licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States. So we have to be careful and look into these things. So the proliferation of all these digital platforms is good. It helps make things easier because now, at least on my phone, I'm able to do a lot of investments, even for products here in Ghana. You don't have to walk to an office. You don't have to be in traffic. All those things are good, but you need to ensure that you are sure of what you are dealing with and who you are dealing with. And then also, the fact that you have done something online also does not mean that you should shirk your responsibility of studying and reading and following up. Some people dump their monies into something. You never attended an AGM before. You've never read any fact sheets from the company. You've never done any random inquiries. You have no idea, but your money is there. You know, these are all things that are important, especially when we are dealing with financial institutions. Okay. Especially when you are trying to do an online or a digital kind of thing. And much more important when you are doing cross-country, because as where we are headed towards, we are going to be doing a lot of cross-border and cross-country. I know for some time now, in West Africa, for example, the Ghana Stock Exchange, the Nigeria Stock Exchange, and then the Francophone, that's their exchange also are trying to work together towards a common platform where you could buy shares across country. You know, all these things are happening and they are innovative, they are nice and they are good. But that even underscores the more reason and the more importance of being financially literate, because now we are going to be exposed to even greater risks because you are going cross country and cross border. So it's very, very important that we look at these things carefully. Yeah.
Great points there, then. So there's this quote that I just remembered. I think it was by Peter Lynch, and he said, "Know what you own and know why you own it." And it's it stresses on Adam's point that don't buy into things that you don't understand. It's a trend that has been happening for years. And once there's a challenge, it becomes a problem, making the person understand that this is what you bought and this is where we are. And so with the information, the proliferation of information online, it can be hard, to distinguish between good advice, good strategies from risky strategies or strategies that can land you in trouble. And so you may ask, how can I, as a young person, learn to navigate these options safely? And the first step is always the easiest, which Adam mentioned. Educate yourself. It is important that you educate yourself on basic finance concepts like compound interest, like risk, the various investment opportunities that are available. It will help you navigate some of these things. You don't always have to jump on the wagon or what's trending nowadays. You don't always have to take people's word for it when they give it to you. You have to do your own due diligence, as they say, and understand what you are investing in before you put your money in there. And so it's important. And this stresses the point that starting your financial literacy journey early or earlier in your life really helps you. And it empowers you to make informed decisions rather than following trends or other people. And so, we've already talked about how the system has failed us in terms of educating us. And the question now would be, how can our parents or schools or the system or mentors make financial literacy more engaging for young people? Because the truth is, there are a lot of foundations out there. There are a lot of NGOs doing their best, going to schools, teaching people about financial literacy. There are bloggers online who post content about financial literacy. There's Money Convos. We come here every week, talk about personal finances and all of that. But the problem still persists. And so the problem becomes, how can we do it better? And what are some concrete steps that we can do to make young people understand money or personal finance? And I think the very first step is what we continue to do here at Money Convos, where we make money a regular topic of conversations. And the job will not end here. As a parent, as a guardian, it's important that you involve your children in budgeting decisions earlier, in money decisions earlier. I think I've heard stories of parents rewarding their awards with money, or making them work for the money, helping them put the money away, teaching them about the importance of hard work and putting the money aside, or making the money work for them. And it's great. It's great education. It's very important that as a parent or guardian, you teach your wards earlier about money, such that they are better prepared for what lies ahead of them. Adam, I don't know if you have any other suggestions or points on this.
Yeah. So just like you said, I think that we can continue what we are doing, like here as Money Convos, and those of us who are interested in financial literacy and money investments and what have you. We should continue what we are doing. We should reach out to the younger people more, probably be more innovative and try to speak to people in a way that they would understand. Sometimes you can be conveying a very good message, but it's more like as though you are shouting because you're not really speaking or you're not communicating with the person. So we should look for more innovative ways. That's why for us, we still do what we do, and that's what drives us here on Money Convos, to continue week after week to share our ideas and our knowledge with the wider world. And hopefully people are benefiting and people are picking from it and getting better. Now, the challenge too is that in the homes where the parents themselves are not financially savvy, it tends to be a problem because you can't give what you don't have. And I was reading something earlier on which said, I don't know whether in the US or something, about 80% of parents did not feel like they had what it took to teach their children concerning personal finance, or to even talk about the fact that they consider themselves financially literate in any sense. So that means that for us, we need to do extra work to help people to understand certain basic concepts, just some basic things. It's the first step. And people would then be able to pick up from there and be more curious. For those who are within policy and maybe, apart from policy, maybe the CSO space, and people who can have effects on how the country is directed, probably they could also push, like in the UK, to include some of these things within the whole curriculum so that students can start to learn it at an early age. Okay, and be able to understand some of these things. And the next thing is to demystify this whole thing, because money is a language we will speak. I think in the article also it said it's a language you will speak forever, so we need to learn it, because it's something you're going to use for life. It is not a matter of, when you finish school, you throw it somewhere or something, but it's something that we are going to be using for all our lives. And it is funny that it is something that we don't really spend a lot of time to learn about, unfortunately, you see. So we need to push for it to be included, and it's being included. It shouldn't come off. Sometimes when people go to a mathematics class, for example, people feel tensed, and some people don't like maths because of the teacher who taught them, or didn't like science because of the teacher and the way they carried it out. So yes, we can ask for inclusion, but if the people who are going to be helping other people also are not properly equipped or not properly trained, and do not carry out the teaching in such a way that will make it enjoyable for those who are studying, it will end up becoming something like maths or science that people shy away from here in Ghana. So we need to also look at it and be more innovative to make it enjoyable, and let people see how relatable it is in their daily lives. Yeah.
Excellent points there, Edem. And so, yeah, just like Edem said, it's about making money, or talking about money, relatable and real. And you shouldn't waste the opportunity to educate people about money, or your friend, your family, about money or personal finance, because you never know what it might do for them down the road. And so with a little you learn, with a little you're able to grab from here and there, never waste the opportunity, or never let the opportunity go when you identify that you could teach someone about personal finance. You could teach them about how they could have handled their financial situation better, and it might save them down the road. You never know. And so, yeah, I think it's a great point that you mentioned there. Keep the concept relatable and real, and people will warm to it. And that's what we seek to continue doing here on Money Convos. And talking about financial literacy and how it can affect your long-term independence or your long-term financial independence, how do you think financial literacy helps individuals take control of their future? For example, when you understand how things work, so there are a lot of finance apps available now. There are a lot of apps that investment houses use to help you invest. When you're able to understand all these things and how the apps work, how to calculate your compound interest on your phone, how to calculate your maturity, all of these, you can better make decisions that align with your financial goals. With such understanding, you can even make a budget, or you can even calculate your net worth in 10 years, 20 years time. And that is because you understand the basic terms, and that has enabled you to understand the tools that exist now. And so it's important that you start your financial literacy journey, and it doesn't matter if you are within your 30s, within your 40s, although this conversation is about how we can start early and how it can help us in the long run, no matter where you are in life, you should not waste the opportunity to learn about money and personal finance. You never know, as we said earlier, you never know what it might do for you in the long run. And so try to take control of your financial destiny. Try to learn the little you can about money. Ask if you can. And we have platforms like this at Money Convos where you can come and ask any question you want about money and you get all the answers you need. And so it's very important that you as a person, you start learning about money earlier, start understanding about the finance world earlier, know how you invest, know how you save, and you reap the benefits in the long run. And so we've had a pretty incredible conversation. We've talked about how starting earlier in terms of learning about money or personal finance is very important and can lead you to your long-term financial independence. And Adam, I don't know if you have any final thoughts or concluding remarks for any young person that's listening that has the opportunity 20 years, 30 years, 40 years ahead of them to start their journey and then reap the benefits. I don't know if you have any concluding remarks.
Yeah, I just posted the picture I was talking about, comparing the two scenarios of someone who starts at 25 and then another one who starts at 35. So that's 10 years difference. Now the first person starts at 25 and sets aside $5,000 every year for 10 years. Okay, so you can say 5,000 CDs for 10 years and then stops after that. Okay, that didn't continue from age to 34. After age 34, doesn't continue. Then investor 2 starts at 35 and invests $5,000 each year for the next 30 years until they reach the age of 65. If we are comparing, they use the interest rate of about, I think, 8%, okay, compounded annually. And by the end of the period, the one who started at 25 will have about $787,000 as compared to the one who started at 35 having 611. So that goes to buttress the point I was talking about starting early, that even though the first person started early, did it for 10 years and stopped and just allowed compound interest to do its work, the one who started later, even though continued with the same thing for 30 years, still did not beat the one who started early. So, I mean, that sums up all what you have been talking about, that the biggest advantage for financial literacy or investment is to start early. Once you start early, you have that. It's like in marketing, what we call the first mover advantage. Once you start early, you have moved early, you have started early, you have that advantage, and you'll be able to gain certain things that others will not get. Yeah, so basically that's my summary for today, that let's start early. Those of us who have already gone past even the 25 years, it's still not late. It's better late than never. I mean, there's a saying that the best time to plant an oak tree was, 10 years ago or 20 years ago? But the next best time is now. So if you could not start, probably like Warren Buffett at 11 or 12 or 13, now that you have heard this, it's a good opportunity for you to start. And then you would see the effects of compound interest by itself. Yeah. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Adam, for sharing your insights with us. So just like Adam said, it is never too early or too late to start learning about money and how it can work for you. And so whether you are in your early 20s or you are pushing your retirement, there's always something to learn. And the key for you is to start today. Take control of your financial future and don't be afraid to ask any questions. No question is embarrassing. No matter how little it is, try to ask questions to any knowledgeable person and learn about how you can take control of your money. And so I hope you feel inspired today to take the next steps in your financial journey. And if you are concerned about where to start regarding your financial literacy journey, it's very simple. We have an investment friend to guide you. And so just go to Instagram and search for investment_friend. And for investment friend, there's never a dull moment. There are always savings and investment challenges to help you and keep you occupied. It's the challenges are also meant to help keep you well informed, to help you start your investment and savings journey. And Investment Friend is just a DM away, so do not hesitate to reach out for assistance whenever you need it. And so thank you so much for making the time to join us today. And we hope you tune in next week too for a very exciting conversation. And remember, financial literacy is a lifelong journey. And the earlier you start, the best advantage you have. And so until next week, try to stay informed, try to stay financially empowered, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our thoughts. I hope you learned a thing or two and start practicing. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook. And subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Do tell a friend about Money Convos so we all become wealthy together. Talk to you soon. Bye.